You're watching the News Hour Special Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the News Hour Special Edition. I'm Madhav Gopalakrishnan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today came back to a rousing welcome after asserting India's strategic significance on the international forum. Staunchly defending democratic traditions in India, the UNGA, the Prime Minister said he was proud to lead a nation that has upheld the principles of inclusivity and vibrancy for thousands of years. But back home, opposition refuses to be impressed by the Prime Minister's message. Alleging hypocrisy, they say that Prime Minister and his government have made tall claims but have failed to walk the talk when it comes to preserving democratic freedoms. At the receiving end, the BJP is quick to retort, bringing out the emergency Brahmastra to remind the Congress of its own subversive track record.
मैं उस देश का प्रतिनिधित्व कर रहा हूं जिसे मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी का गौरव हासिल है। हमारी विविधता हमारे सशक्त लोकतंत्र की पहचान है और मैं अपने अनुभव से कह रहा हूं, यस, डेमोक्रेसी कैन डिलीवर। Yes, democracy has delivered.
हमारे यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री का उद्बोधन सच्चे मायनों में एक ट्रू स्टेट्समैन का स्टेटमेंट है। उनका उद्बोधन देश के 130 करोड़ भारतवासियों को गौरवान्वित करने वाला है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने दुनिया को अपने कर्तृत्व से ये दर्शाया कि भारत में किस तरह से डेमोक्रेसी कैन डिलीवर से डेमोक्रेसी हैज डिलीवर्ड की यात्रा की है।
फ्रीडम हाउस एक इंडिपेंडेंट एजेंसी है। उसने क्या कहा, जो डेमोक्रेसी को रेट करती है, दुनिया की डेमोक्रेसीज को रेट करती है फ्रीडम हाउस ने भारत के लोकतंत्र की रैंकिंग को नीचे गिराया है और स्वतंत्र, आंशिक रूप से स्वतंत्र लोकतंत्र की श्रेणी में भारत को डाला है। पार्शियली इंडिपेंडेंट डेमोक्रेसी।
But yes, for Congress, democracy means only delivering to dynasty and only confined to dynasty. I mean, there are people who have proclaimed emergency in the country, people who have brought postal bill to the country, and then it was opposed to nail. People who have put every opposition leader behind bar, every newspaper editor was behind bar. So they have no right to talk about democracy.
वाइस प्रेसिडेंट कमला हैरिस ने प्रधानमंत्री को लोकतंत्र का सबक दिया। प्रेसिडेंट बाइडेन ने महात्मा गांधी के विचारों का सबक दिया और मजबूरन प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को यूनाइटेड नेशंस में कहना पड़ा कि हम तो लोकतंत्र को 1000 साल से फॉलो कर रहे हैं। लेकिन मोदी जी भूल गए कि चाय बेचने वाला प्रधानमंत्री तब बना था जब भारत के अंदर यूपीए की सरकार थी, उस वक्त लोकतंत्र था।
You're watching the News Hour Special Edition, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's go across to our guest. Joining us now with us is Shehzad Poonawalla, lawyer. With us also is a spokesperson of the CPI, that is Professor Dinesh Vashni. Ashutosh Mishra is a senior journalist who's also joining us on this broadcast. Let me begin with Professor Dinesh Vashni. Professor Dinesh Vashni, I'm going to just quote to you what the Prime Minister said at UNGA. He says that I represent the mother of democracy, where there are dozens of languages, hundreds of dialects, different lifestyles and cuisines. This is a shining example of a vibrant democracy. Now, would you like to clarify what exactly do you find wrong, factually or otherwise, with this sentiment expressed by the Prime Minister at UNGA?
Look, Madhav, first of all, democracy does not mean only casting the vote and getting the election result. Democracy means involving the people and instilling the feeling of democracy among the people of the country, from lowest person of the society, lower strata of the society, to the highest strata of the society. But you have seen now, all democratic institutions are under depression. All the democratic institutions or autonomous institutions have been ruined by curtailing their powers or injecting their powers to someone else who is a hardcore BJP man. And you know very well that, first of all, I don't know who is Modi ji's speech writer or a speech advisor. 1,000 years of democracy in India. Monarchy was never a form of democracy. Monarchical form of government, whether it is the Mughals or the ancient India or the Turks, they are never the democracy. What are you talking? I don't know from where he learned the lessons of history. Who teaches him the history? I'm very sorry, he is our Prime Minister, elected Prime Minister, we have to respect him. But that does not mean we will accept his everything wrong. Second thing, democracy does not mean that any judge who speaks or try to give a judgment against him is transferred to Delhi from Delhi High Court to Punjab High Court. The same night.
I just want to come to you on the historical point. You brought up two separate points. You brought up two separate points. One second, Mr. Varshney, you brought up 2 points. Let's go point by point, because otherwise this discussion will be all over the place. I want to start with a factual point. The factual point that you're mentioning is, where are the traditions of democracy? You believe that India has always been a monarchy. There's nothing democratic about our tradition. What about, sir, concepts such as panchayat? What about the concept of an Anubhava Mandapa that existed in Karnataka in the 10th or the 12th century? What about several such traditions of councils or people coming together to rule themselves that have been reported in different parts of India as early as 6 BC? When we're talking about democracy in its current constitutional form, perhaps that did not exist, but the whole idea is of common rule and people coming together for governance. You cannot deny that there has not existed even a single example in India from the past.
Look, Madhav, there was an existence of Sabha and Samitis from the Rigvedic period. There are existence of the local village councils and other things. That does not mean that is the true form of democracy. Ultimately, the king wisdom was the highest. King wisdom was the after the Rigvedic period, from the post-Vedic period onward, जिसकी लाठी उसकी भैंस चला. किसने कहा कि आपको डेमोक्रेसी का लोएस्ट फॉर्म उसमें थी, पर अल्टीमेटली हु इज द रूलर? द किंग वाज द सुप्रीम पावर. यू हैव टू ओबे हिम. You have to follow his orders. Okay. Same thing is happening. Whatever Amit Shah and Modi ji say is the final.
Okay, even Shehzad, I want Shehzad to come in now. Okay, you've made your point now. I want Shehzad to respond to you on that. Shehzad, Professor Varshni's allegation, and this is his allegation, his perspective, he says that this is not factually correct to say this, that there is, that India is the mother of democracy, because he believes that it has always been autocrats or rulers who have had the control, a monarchic system, whereby you have to completely discount whatever sabhas or samitis existed in any other part of the country. Ultimately, it was the rule of the king. So therefore, asserting that India was democratic in that sense is incorrect. Please respond to this charge of Professor Varshni.
Madhav, unfortunately for some people, Modi Virod is so important that in the process of Modi Virod, they can do Desh Virod. Now, it is well documented that the consultative process of decision making is something that is ingrained in the history, culture of India and in the DNA of every Indian. In fact, many people, especially the Britishers, never gave us a chance after independence that we would survive as a democracy, but we proved them all wrong. But look at this person here. He is so frustrated कि परिवार तंत्र खतरे में है. उनके लिए परिवार तंत्र ही लोकतंत्र है. इसीलिए लोकतंत्र पर आज कोई खतरा नहीं है, पर परिवार तंत्र पर खतरे को ये लोकतंत्र पर खतरा मानते हैं. I'll give you an example. Madhav, who won the Delhi elections? Was it the BJP? Who won the Punjab elections? Was it the BJP? Who won, despite the BJP coming #1 party in Maharashtra, who's formed the government in Maharashtra? Who won the elections in Kerala? Who won the elections in Bengal? If there was no democracy existing or democracy was under real threat, would these governments of opposition parties be in place? Would Mr. Dinesh Varshne be allowed to speak whatever he's speaking at 9 p.m. on prime time on India's most watched channel? So Madhav, the problem is that there is a band of people who see democracy par khatra because there's khatra on parivar tantra. Now let me tell you, they have questioned the election commission, they raise questions on EVMs, they raise questions on Supreme Court. Agar Supreme Court ka faisla inke paksh mein aa jaye, Supreme Court is free and fair. Agar Supreme Court Ram Mandir ke paksh mein faisla फैसला दे दे, सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज अंडर इन्फ्लुएंस. I just have one question to ask of my dear friend Mr. Varshney. Is he saying that there is no democracy? Then in that sense, the election results in Punjab, election results in Delhi, the election results in Bengal, does he not accept them? Does he think that those are not election results that reflect the sense of democracy that is alive and living and kicking in India?
Respond to that, Mr. Varshney, because you raised the point of institutions. His response is that institutions, when their results or when something comes out which favors the opposition, then they are fine, then they are fair. But as long as something goes out in favor of the government, then they suddenly become unfair and one-sided.
Look, Madhav, everybody knows in last 7 years of Modi's rule, the federal character of the Indian constitution has been endangered. It has become an endangered species. Reason being, the states and again the states, all anti-BJP governed states have been harassed. Their projects are stopped, their grants are stopped, their money is being stopped. Even they are harassed during the pandemic. Even the distribution of vaccines. Everybody knows the federal character has come under stress and duress. Number two,
sir,
you can see
at least have some element of honesty. Mr. Varshney,
or everything. Everywhere you find that they are under stress. They have been attacked once and again.
Okay.
Even the police, CBI, ED, all the income tax, all these agencies are used to curb the opposition political party.
Okay, you made your point. Now I've listened to the response from the ruling party spokesperson. Sanju Verma, allegation of Dinesh Varshney is that agencies are being misused, that targeting is taking place of anybody who raises their voice against the government. He has referred to journalists, etc. As well. We've heard opposition make these charges in the past as well. Your response?
Madhav, apologies, I got into the debate late. There were some problems with the audio. I just want to say one thing. Every time Prime Minister Narendra Modi is put in the dockyard, and so is the BJP and the Modi government, saying freedom of speech is under threat, freedom to dissent is under threat. I just want to remind Mr. Varshney that, who passed the First Amendment and curbed freedom of speech? It was Jawaharlal Nehru and the Congress government then. Who passed the 42nd Amendment in 1976, curbing the power of judicial review? It was Indira Gandhi. Who tried to pass in 1988 the anti-defamation bill? Thank God it did not pass muster with the parliament. It was Rajiv Gandhi. Who brought in the draconian 66A to ensure that online speech was curbed? It was Kapil Sibal and company, the Congress, of course. Who ensured that, a Muslim called Shabano, she did not even get a measly 179 rupees as maintenance? The Congress government. Who said after the anti-Sikh riot, जब बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है तो धरती थोड़ी हिलती है? This shameless comment was made by Rajiv Gandhi. Which is the state which has seen the maximum number of COVID-related deaths in India, Madhav? Maharashtra, ruled by Congress, Shiv Sena and NCP. Who has seen the maximum number of wastages? Which state? Rajasthan, under Congress's Ashok Gehlot. Who propagated vaccine hesitancy? Bhupesh Baghel, Chhattisgarh CM of the Congress.
The subject of democracy, please. Let's not get out of that debate.
Let me just finish.
Yeah, democracy. Let's stick to that point.
Yes, so I am sticking to democracy, but as Professor Varshney was bringing in COVID and you did not rein him in, I will need to rebut that. You cannot have a one-sided debate where somebody comes and deflects from the topic and then I am asked to stick to democracy. My simple take is this. What PM Modi said, democracy can deliver, and in the Modi government's era till now, in the last 7 years, it has delivered. Don't forget, Madhav, that we had just 39% sanitation rate till Prime Minister Modi came. The sanitation rate today is almost 100%. Only 53% of Indians had bank accounts. Today, almost 100% Indians have bank accounts. More than 3 lakh kilometers of roads have been built in rural and semi-urban areas. There has been 100% electrification of India's 5.5 lakh plus villages. And these people are giving us lectures on democracy.
Okay.
यदि आपको democracy की इतनी चिंता है, तो why don't you win elections?
Okay, let me bring in Ashutosh Mishra on that note. Ashutosh Mishra, you heard what was stated here by Sanju Verma. At the end of the day, what the Prime Minister has tried to do, he has talked about India's inclusive nature. That's the message of inclusivity, where he has talked about India as a top destination with global trade and manufacturing at an international platform. What really is therefore wrong in what the Prime Minister has said is a question that's coming out from the BJP side.
प्रॉब्लम हियर इज दैट मोदी जी की कथनी और करनी में फर्क है. It should be evident to any observer of Modi ji's growth graph that his attack on democratic ethos is part of systematic drive to purposely dig the roots of tree of democracy, the fruits of which he has been testing for 2 decades now. All the PSUs that he is selling today were made earlier, not by him. Coming to what he has done, he gets schooled on Gandhian tolerance. He gets schooled on human rights in a nation where Black Lives Matter was the issue. Now, if they can give him a lecture, he has only brought shame to India. And that's why you can hear Sanju Verma shouting now, because she has been caught. She has been exposed. She talks about Jandan account. She hasn't heard Nirmala Sitharaman saying that can you name in rural India where economic activities are taking place, you have no banking. She only keeps coming here and passing the same things again and again. She should listen to her own minister. She hasn't listened to Piyush Goyal, who called
Okay. Let's not get into a shouting match, please. One second. Let me just come in here. Please. Let me come in here. Let me bring in other guests now, because I don't want to make this into a shouting match. And I want to ask Sanju Verma a simple question. Sanju Verma, today you would have seen the press conference of the Congress party where Gaurav Vallabh. One second, Ashutosh, I'll come to you, and you can respond to Sanju Verma when she says this. She says that Freedom Index has very clearly brought down India's ranking in terms of freedom, and therefore they say when international agencies are bringing down India's ranking, their charge is that the democratic standards are falling. This is a direct charge that was made. You would also have seen that press conference. How do you respond to that charge?
Thank you, Madhav. Madhav, first of all, I wish there was a panel which was reasonably intelligent to understand the difference between asset monetization, privatization, and outright sale of PSUs. Ashutosh does not have a clue about what sale of PSUs means.
There is not enough banking in rural sectors. You keep talking about general accounts. The issue talks about lack of banking.
Let's not make personal comments. Sanju Verma and Ashutosh, no personal comments. I'm going to otherwise have to lower both your faders. This is too serious a debate to get into this kind of a debate. I'm going to go across to the other panelists now. Shehzad, direct question to you. Your response to the Congress's briefing today, where they say that international indices are lowering freedom and our democratic standards. That is a charge of Congress party. Shehzad, please respond.
Well, first of all, Madhav, I don't think that if the Congress party is going to selectively pick up one international study whose credibility is questionable and quote it to us, then they should take the other international statistics that also come on board. They selectively choose one and then they selectively reject the other. That's not how it works. But let me ask Ashutosh ji and Varshney ji. These are people who stood in support of what happened in 1975. They say nothing about what happened in Bengal after 2nd of May. They say nothing about what happened during the communist regime of 34 years of the left parties, which killed hundreds and hundreds of opponents. In Kerala too, you see a manifestation of that. And today they question that democracy is over. Are institutions in this country not strong enough? This is not an insult of the BJP or Prime Minister Modi. You're insulting this country's greatness, its institutions and its people who are very capable, even if they may be lacking in education or in some other ways. They are very capable of making the right choice at the right time. They've thrown in the most powerful governments out of power and they've voted in people who didn't have a chance. So to reject all of that achievement in the last 70 years, 75 years, and to put us on the same pedestal as Pakistan, it seems this is more driven by Modi hatred than actually something that is substantive and concrete. Which institution is not working properly? The Supreme Court, the Election Commission? Name one institution which you can say is compromised today.
Anurag Bhadoria, अनुराग भदौरिया is joining this debate, spokesperson of समाजवादी पार्टी. अनुराग भदौरिया, आपने शहजाद पूनावाला को सुना. कौन से ऐसी इंस्टीट्यूशन है जिसको आप कह रहे हैं कि अपने काम ठीक से नहीं कर रही है? सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस इंडिपेंडेंट है, ये कहना है शहजाद पूनावाला का. और मोदी विरोध में आखिरकार आप देश की डेमोक्रेसी को इस तरह इंटरनेशनल फोरम पे और इंटरनेशनल फोरम पे दिए गए स्पीच को इस तरह नहीं नकार सकते, ये कहना है बीजेपी का और मिस्टर पूनावाला का. आपकी रिस्पॉन्स?
देखिए, मेरा मानना यह है कि राष्ट्र से बड़ा कोई नहीं होता है, व्यक्ति से बड़ा राष्ट्र होता है. अगर हम जब राष्ट्र की बात करते हैं तो हमें ये भी बात करनी होगी कि राष्ट्र में जब देश के अंदर में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार में जो हाल उत्तर प्रदेश में देखने को मिलता है, अगर हम किसी विरोध प्रदर्शन करते हैं महंगाई को लेके, बेरोजगारी को लेके, तो हमारे लोगों पे एफआईआर कर दी जाती है, उन्हें जेल में डाल दिया जाता है. आखिर क्यों भाई? लोकतंत्र की तो खूबसूरती है ये. तो हम इस बात को आपस में तो कर सकते हैं. हम अपने देश के जो हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री हैं या देश के भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है, उससे हम अपनी बात की शिकायत कर सकते हैं कि भाई हमारे देश के अंदर
विरोध और दंगा अलग होता है.
नहीं, बात दंगे की हो ही नहीं रही. बात यहाँ पे बात उसकी है कि आप लोकतंत्र के अंदर में आप किसी को अधिकार दे रहे हैं कि नहीं दे रहे हैं?
नहीं, तो नागरिकता कानून के नाम पर दंगा करने का अधिकार नहीं दिया जा सकता ना.
मैं बोलूं वो नहीं दिया जाता, मैं उसकी बात नहीं कर रहा हूं. मैं बेरोजगारी महंगाई की बात कर रहा हूं जो आपके शायद कान तक नहीं जा रही होगी. मैं महिला अत्याचार की बात कर रहा हूं जो आपके कान तक नहीं जा रही होगी. मैं किसान सम्मान की बात कर रहा हूं जो आपके
नहीं, मेरे कान तक जा रही है. बेरोजगारी पर आज चर्चा नहीं है. अगर करनी है तो कर सकते हैं, पर क्या आपको चुनाव आयोग पर भरोसा नहीं है? क्या आपको ईवीएम पर भरोसा नहीं है? क्या आपको सुप्रीम कोर्ट हाई कोर्ट पर भरोसा नहीं है?
अगर हम कोई प्रदर्शन, देखो मैं आपसे बहस नहीं करना चाहता. बीजेपी का प्रवक्ता होता तो मैं बहस करता. मैं
ओके, बीजेपी के प्रवक्ता को लाते हैं. संजू वर्मा, रिस्पॉन्ड टू हिम. संजू वर्मा, डायरेक्ट चार्ज. पीपल्स इश्यूज आर बीइंग रेज्ड एंड वी आर नॉट बीइंग अलाउड टू रेज इट. दिस इज व्हाट वी आर.
ये इनका लोकतांत्रिक बिहेवियर है. ये इनका लोकतांत्रिक बिहेवियर.
शहजाद, 1 सेकंड. या आई वांट संजू टू रिस्पॉन्ड टू दैट. संजू वर्मा,
नहीं, मेरी बात
आपने एक बात रखी है, अब जवाब भी सुन लीजिए. आपने एक बात रखी है, आप इनको रिबट भी कर सकते हैं. संजू वर्मा,
मेरी बात पूरी हुई नहीं, रखी नहीं.
You know why is it that when I start talking, Madhav, these guys threaten me and you do nothing to control them?
तो हमारे ऊपर एफआईआर होकर जेल में.
Sanju Verma, everybody is being allowed equal chance to speak. You have been given the third chance to speak. Please don't say that you're not being given an opportunity. Go ahead and respond to the person from Samajwadi Party.
No, this is my second chance, not third chance. Let me correct you. And now
no, madam, you responded twice to Ashutosh.
No, I did not. You cut me short when I was responding to Ashutosh.
Yes, because you went into a personal rant. Please continue now. Respond to the subject at hand.
I did not go into a personal rant. He went into a personal rant about Modi. You are okay with a personal
I am asking anybody is making personal comments to not speak.
So
would you like to respond to the SP spokesperson, please?
Yeah, so let me speak now. I don't need to be lectured. I know what I need to say. First of all, Anurag Bhadauria, let me remind you, you have been going on and on and on about UP mein लाशें गंगा में तैर रही थी. But let me remind you today, Uttar Pradesh is a proud state which has administered more than 10 crore dosages, which is nothing short of commendable and extraordinary. We've administered more than 85 crore dosages, with more than 67% of India's adult population getting at least one dose, despite being a country of 140 crore people, with a density of population as high as 455 persons per square kilometer, which makes the task even more challenging. Which is the country which forced an expansionist country like China to voluntarily disengage in February 2021 post-Galwan? It was the Narendra Modi government. We are not like the Congress which gave 38,000 square kilometers of Aksai Chin on a golden platter to the Chinese. And I don't need lectures from the leftist panel here. Their Kerala model has failed completely. Do you know, Madhav? Kerala today has more number of COVID deaths than Uttar Pradesh, despite the fact that Kerala has a population of 3.5 crores, Uttar Pradesh has a population of 25 crores. And then these leftists have the audacity to lecture the BJP on democracy and governance.
She's lying.
It is laughable.
Okay, you made a charge against the left parties. Let the left response
How many people
come
have
in now,
died
Professor
because of
Vashti.
COVID? Your failure of giving them the oxygens, medicines.
Your Kerala model is a disaster.
I am asking Sanju Verma, how many people have died because of your failure providing the vaccines in the beginning? You are too late to give the vaccines. You delivered the shortage of vaccines to Kerala. Kerala is the best administered medically. Highest per capita doctors, highest per capita nurses, highest per capita bed ICU beds. Talk about your AMS. You talk of the government hospitals in North India. Talk of the government hospital in Delhi. No beds, no oxygen.
My problem with this debate is that now it is becoming into a governance debate. I just want to lower all the faders, whether it is Mr. Vashti, whether it is Sanju Verma, because I want to ask some very pertinent questions to the subject at hand, which is the subject of democracy. One second.
Kamala Harris has given
One
you a
second.
lecture.
Professor Vashti, please. Professor Vashti and Sanju Verma, let me just come in now and let me put this question across to Anurag Bhadoria. Anurag Bhadoria, चार्ज ये है जब कोई भी इंस्टीट्यूशन कुछ भी एक्शन लेती है जो ऑपोजिशन को सूट करती है तब इंडिपेंडेंट है, लेकिन जब कुछ भी एक्शन ये लेती है जो सरकार को सूट करती है तब सडनली पार्शियल हो जाती है। ये चार्ज बार बार लगता है और ये आरोप है बीजेपी का और प्रवक्ताओं का जो यहां पे इस पैनल में मेंबर्स हैं कि आप सेलेक्टिवली इंस्टीट्यूशंस को बायस्ड या कॉम्प्रोमाइज कहते हैं।
देखिए, सवाल ये है कि इसके पहले जब कांग्रेस की सरकार थी तब भी इसी तरह का देखने को मिला कि इंस्टीट्यूशन का कितना दुरुपयोग हुआ। आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है तो वहां भी वही हाल है, तो आपका परिवर्तन कहाँ है? लेकिन मैं बात कर रहा था उत्तर प्रदेश में। उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर जब महंगाई बेरोजगारी पे समाजवादी प्रदर्शन करते हैं वहां पे लाठियां बरसाई जाती है, उनको जेल में डाल दिया जाता है। ये कैसा है? आप बताइए, जब बच्चियों के अत्याचार होता है अगर हम उसके खिलाफ आवाज उठाते हैं तो आप समाजवादी को जेल में डाल देते हैं। तो
अखिलेश यादव बनाए रखें। गायत्री प्रजापति,
अरे आपके यहाँ तो मत पूछो, आपके तो विधानसभा अध्यक्ष क्या बोलते हैं? आपके भारतीय जनता पार्टी के विधानसभा अध्यक्ष कि वो गांधी जी को और एक महिला का गांधी जी का अपमान किया, महिला का भी अपमान किया मामले में। तो मैं तो कहूंगा कि आप अपने को पूछिए, आप यहाँ किस तरह की महिलाओं का अपमान करते हैं? वीरेंद्र तिवारी,
all right, we're almost out of time. Quick response from Shehzad Poonawalla before we wrap up. Yes, Shehzad.
Madhav, Anurag's claims would have had some substance in them had he not been selective in raising these issues. Has he ever raised the issue of the silencing of dissent in Bengal after 2nd of May? You come from Kerala. How many RSS workers have been killed by PFI and other such political agents? And has Mr. Anurag Bhadoria ever spoken about their plight? So here too, he is selective in his approach. And the communists, is there any communist regime which espouses democratic traditions in any part of the world? So these people should not be lecturing India just because they don't like Modi's face.
Okay. I'm going to wrap up this debate now. We're completely out of time. Sanju Verma, Shehzad Poonawalla, Anurag Bhadoria, Ashutosh Mishra and Professor Dinesh Vashti. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. Clearly, we haven't heard the last word on the democracy debate yet.